Hey, it's Dean here on Longest Solo Ever, and today I'm answering your questions about music, music production, guitar, my channel, and literally anything else you want to ask. I'm not picky about this. If you have questions for me about any of those topics or anything else, leave them in the comments down below or DM me on Instagram at longestsoloever or Twitter at longestsoloever. However you want to get in contact with me, and I'll be sure to answer them on my next Q&A. Stefan Grenier writes, I've seen you use a variety of MIDI controllers in your videos. Any particular ones you would recommend to someone who never owned one before? Yeah, I'm not picky about MIDI controllers. I have a lot of them. They just kind of keep showing up here. Right now, my main one I'm rocking is the Code 49 you see on my desk. That's an M-Audio 49-key MIDI controller, semi-weighted keys, a lot of fun buttons and switches and stuff that I frankly never use. I've also reviewed the Akai MPK mini keyboard. That's a more affordable, really small little keyboard, great for mobile recording or if you're working on a smaller desk. This is up in the 400 range and it is really good for just about anything you'd want to play on it. If you're looking for a good first MIDI controller, I do recommend the Keystation 49 by M-Audio. That's the one I recommend to all my production students who are just getting started. It's 49 keys, it's really affordable. It does everything you'd need a MIDI controller to do. You don't need all these buttons and switches and stuff. They're fun, they light up, they look cool, but you're never going to use them. So that's the first one I'd recommend. The M-Audio Keystation 49 Mark III, I think they're on. I think it's 99 bucks and you can grab it on Amazon now. I'll put the link in the description below. Brandon Prater writes, what are your favorite musical instruments? That's a good question. I don't know if I have one. I get really bored really easily, and that's why I keep moving from instrument to instrument. I'll play drums for 10 hours a day for a week and then get really sick of drums and move on to bass or something. I guess it depends on the criteria. My favorite instrument to play, just recreationally for fun, is probably the drums. That was my real first instrument. I started that around age 11 or so, and it's just the most relaxing, like just blow off some steam, hit some drums for a bit. That's a fun instrument. My favorite instrument to teach is probably the bass. There's a lot of really cool theory and concepts that go into it, while also just being able to teach like good groove. That's a really fun instrument to teach. A favorite instrument to work on, like gigs or recording, has to be the guitar. That's the one I'm most proficient on. It's the only one I'd really consider myself a real professional on, and it's the only one I've done any like real professional work on. So yeah, I'd say favorite for recreation and fun is the drums, favorite to teach is the bass, and favorite for work is the guitar. But overall, my real true favorite musical instrument is the recording studio. I love putting all these pieces together and making a big, cohesive, awesome sounding track. Arrangement and recording is my real favorite instrument, I guess. But if you ask me to pick a literal specific favorite instrument, it's this Kiesel Carvin TL70. It's perfect, it's amazing. Altair the Gamer has a few questions. What is your name, how old are you, and what country do you live in? Dean DeMarzo, 28, yeah, 28, and United States. How did you connect your life with music? How did I get started with music? My parents are both musicians. Mom plays piano, dad plays guitar, bass, and drums, which is probably where I get that whole musical ADD thing from. They were always trying to get me interested in music growing up. I actually had no interest in playing a musical instrument until really middle school, I'd say. Up until that point, I was exclusively interested in being a computer programmer so I could someday make video games. So you can kind of trace a line through that to video game music later on. But at age 11 or 12, I picked up the drums. Shortly after that, the guitar as well, and immediately started doing only that, like 10 hours a day. Pretty much I would wake up, go to school, come home, and practice until 11 or 12 at night, wake up and do it again the next day. How did you come up with the idea of such a nickname, Longest Solo Ever? I don't know, I was like 15 and it was what came to mind. Try asking anybody from that era to explain their AIM screen name. Will there be covers of Pokemon music? Yes. What do you like besides music? I've actually really been getting into 3D modeling and animation in Blender, so that's kind of like my recreational fun thing to cool down when I'm kind of burnt out on music. How much time does it take to record one video? That depends on the video. Something like this is really, really quick. It's just literally me talking into the camera. I'll cut out all the ums and uhs and pauses in between, add some background music, throw some graphics on it, and it's good to go. One of my cover videos is a bit longer of a turnaround. I actually record the whole song as a demo first, just to get the arrangement down and everything. Then I'll do the live shots that you see in the video, edit those, edit the audio from those, do any cleaning up they need, mix the whole track, submit that to Spotify, and then about 2 weeks later, the video actually comes out on YouTube, because that's how long the turnaround takes for that music to get distributed to all those online distributors. So in terms of actual amount of work time, it's probably 8 to 10 hours, maybe 12 for a more complicated cover, but the real turnaround time is like 2.5 weeks. Matthew Cross writes, would you do a Mario soundtrack? Yes. Victor Barbieri writes, do you have any tips for a good guitar sound in the mix? While playing alone and recording, it sounds fantastic, but with all the instruments, I can't find a good balance, or it'll sound messy or sound like crap. Yeah, guitars are really tough to mix. I've heard it described as pretty much a giant wall of noise that you're trying to squeeze into the mix. It's a very harmonically complex sound when we're talking about distorted guitars. It's kind of like starting with a big chunk of marble and then carving away the pieces that don't fit your mix. As far as some specific tips, you can check out the recording guitar video I did a while ago, but the main takeaways are: high pass your guitars to cut out the low rumble, cut away where you hear the hiss. I usually find this around 4K or 6K, somewhere in that range. Boost it a little bit first, and then cut away once you've identified the troublesome part of the spectrum. And the biggest, most important part of it, this isn't a mixing thing, believe it or not, but it really, really makes a huge difference in your mixes, is having everything be just super, super tight. The timing of the guitars, the tuning of the guitars and the bass together, having everything be perfectly in time and in sync will make your mix sit so much better than if something is even just slightly off. You'll be amazed at how little work you have to do to make something sound good when the timing is all just right. Hello Valtteri writes, what are the biggest differences between your old white Ibanez RG and the new red one? About $800? No, it's the Genesis RG is a really, really high quality guitar. Been gigging on it for the last year with the 80s band, and it really, really holds up in terms of tuning and playability. Just a reliable, awesome, fast guitar. I'm playing these stupid, Night Ranger solos and all kinds of insane 80s shred, and this thing just holds up no problem. I'd say it's actually a little faster playing than my Carvin, which blows me away. I've never felt anything faster than my Carvin before. For specific details, they're both made out of basswood. They both have maple necks. The biggest difference visually between the two of them, besides the crazy red paint job, is a maple neck instead of a rosewood neck. I kind of prefer the feel of maple on your fingertips for really fast stuff. It's harder. It kind of pushes back against your fingers a little more. So it makes those really shreddy passages a little easier, I find. Both guitars sound great tonally. I'd say the Genesis probably resonates a little better, even though the pickups I have in the Genesis might be a little worse than the ones in my RG350. Those I've replaced with DiMarzio pickups. The Genesis still has the stock pickups. I still haven't gotten around to replacing that. I can definitely say that really is a top quality guitar though. I do seriously recommend it if you're into that kind of guitar. Brian Antonio writes, who or what was your inspiration on learning and pursuing music in your life? Big inspirations growing up were Joe Satriani was always like #1 for me growing up in terms of guitarists. He is who I've pretty much stolen my entire soloing style from. Learning his albums front to back growing up had a huge effect on my playing. All the other big guys of that era, Steve Vai, Eric Johnson. In just my personal life, like I said, my parents are musicians. My band teacher, Mr. B, gave me so many of the tools I use today in music theory and just being a good musician in the sense of being the kind of musician other people want to work with. What is an instrument you've always wanted to learn but haven't gotten the chance? Let's see. I'd really like to get the hang of the banjo. I have one. I've been playing it. I can function on it, but I haven't really gotten the real hang of the banjo roll situation. In instruments I'll probably never get my hands on, the onde martenot has always seemed really interesting to me. It's like a weird offshoot hybrid of a theremin and a keyboard, and Johnny Greenwood plays one in a bunch of Radiohead tunes, and that's always been super cool to me. I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions of your own on any topic related to music or to my channel or to anything else, leave them in the comments down below and I will get back to you on the next Q&A. I think I'm posting these on the 1st of the month, so I will see you next month on February 1st. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys.